Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming today. Today is the February 11th, 2025 meeting of the Laughlin Town Advisory Board. I'll go ahead and read some items into the agenda or into the minutes. Items on the agenda may be taken out of order. The board may combine two or more agenda items for consideration. The board may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item at any time. No action may be taken on any matter not listed on the posted agenda of today. All planning and zoning matters heard at this meeting are forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners, Zoning Commission, known as the BCC, or the Clark County Planning Commission, known as the PC, for final action. Please take a moment and turn off or mute all of your cell phones or other electronic devices. Check my own. Please take all private conversations outside the room, and within 48 hours, advance request a sign language interpreter or other reasonable efforts to assist and accommodate persons with physical disabilities may be made available by calling 702-455-3530, TDD at 702-385-7486, or Relay Nevada toll-free at 800-326-6868. Supporting material provided to the board members for this meeting may be requested from our secretary, Tammy Harris, at 702-298-0828, and supporting material is or will also be available at the Clark County Department of Administrative Services, 500 South Grand Central Parkway, 6th floor, Las Vegas, Nevada, and available on our Clark County website at clarkcountynv.gov/LaughlinTAB. I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to do a roll call. Pamela Walker is absent today. Myself will be chairing the meeting, Kathy Oakes, and also Bradley Beck.
Here.
Present. Fred Doughton. Here. Kathleen Haas.
Here.
We have 4 members present. We do have a quorum. With us also today is our secretary, Tammy Harris, and she can be reached at area code 702-298-0828, or Tammy, Tammy .Harris, HARRIS, at clarkcountynv.gov. And also with us today is Clark County Liaison Mark Moskowitz, and he can also be reached at 702-298-0828, or 702-455-6173, with an email address of mark.moskowitz, MOSKOWITZ, at clarkcountynv.gov. So we've gone ahead and called this meeting to order, and if I can have Fred lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, it'll be just a little minute. He's just returning from hip replacement surgery.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. And we've already had our roll call. I dispensed with that earlier. So then I'll go ahead and move on to item number 2 of today's agenda. This is the public comment section, and this is a period devoted to comments by the general public about items on today's agenda. No discussion, action, or vote may be taken on this agenda item, and you'll be afforded the opportunity to speak again on individual public hearing items as they are presented. If you wish to speak to the board about items within its jurisdiction but not on today's agenda, you must wait till the comments by the general public period listed at the end of today's agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to our speaker's podium. Be sure it's lit green, that it's recording. And state your name and address, and please spell your last name for the record. These meetings are recorded, and it's much easier on our secretary. She has correct spelling of your name. Thank you. So the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation. This will be done by the chairperson or by the board by majority votes. So seeing that we're in the public comment section, is there anyone that would like to speak on public comment, items that are listed on today's agenda? Okay. All right, seeing no one, I'll go ahead and close the public comment section and move forward. I'll ask for a motion that we approve the minutes for January 14th, 2025, and with one motion also approval of the agenda for February 11th, today's agenda.
So move.
Okay, we have a first and a second to combine the two items for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving forward again to informational items, we're also here to announce the 2025 Laughlin Citizen of the Year and present an award and Clark County proclamation in honor and recognition of community services. Mark?
Perfect, thank you.
Please do the honors.
The Laughlin Citizen of the Year Award is presented annually in honor of the late Jim Edwards as an expression of gratitude and appreciation to a resident of Laughlin who has made our community a better place to live. This year's recipient always goes above and beyond to help the community and can be seen at many community events every month. This person's commitment to the Township of Laughlin includes countless hours of volunteering to ensure the community is always taken care of. This person has been with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department's Laughlin substation for more than 8 years, and this person is also an active member in the community, is involved in several organizations, including the Laughlin Rotary Club and the Colorado River Heritage Greenway Park Trail Advisory Council. It is my pleasure to announce Renee Yepes as the 2025 Laughlin Citizen of the Year.
Oh, this chair is like Rocky.
Did I surprise you? This is a proclamation for declaring today Renee Yepes Day.
Thank you so much.
Nobody knew till now.
Here comes Larry. Okay, okay. Her proud husband. Wow. Yes,
Here, one more.
Sean, squeeze in there.
Everybody look this way for a minute. Over here. Okay? 1, 2, 3. One more. Perfect.
Step back just a smidge so our camera can pick you up. There you go.
Well, this is not like me to be without words. I always have something to say, but I have to say I am quite surprised. And I want to thank the community for being so trusting in helping and supporting the events and the ideas that I bring to the table, because this would not be possible without all of you who support those events. So I want to thank my Rotary family, and there's so many mentors that go along the way, Gino, Jackie, Fred, Lieutenant, and I can go on. And I'm just really blessed to have you on my side of the world here in my corner. And Jill, thank you too. And Mark, I mean, it goes on and on. Kathleen, Kathy, I mean, really. So thank you. I am quite shocked. I'm nervous, and I'm just very blessed. So I thank you so much for the blessing. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you for all you do. Couldn't happen to a nicer lady. So also, and I'm not sure if Renee will be involved in this, but we have an awards presentation. Oh, I'm sorry, receive a report and updates from South County Liaison.
Do you want to?
Or we can, if you want to do the,
We could do
Okay.
mine, or do you want to? What do you feel?
it doesn't matter if you want to do
I'll do
your
mine and then,
announcements.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
please. All right, go ahead.
Perfect. So I know I got a few announcements I want to share with everyone. So the Laughlin Roads project, that project is complete. It was a great community effort. I know we spoke about it before. Let us know at our office if you see anything that seems out of the ordinary. I know I've reached out to a few people. We always have kind of a year warranty period, so if something doesn't seem right, don't just live with it. Let us know, and we'll definitely get an answer for it. It might take some time for them to look at it, but always contact our office. And like I said, areas 4 and 5 was about 7 miles, so all residential roads are now complete. We also did Laughlin Civic Drive, a portion of that, so that is very smooth to drive on now, and that's pretty much a great update. I know we pushed really hard to get the roads completely redone. I know it was a little bit of a hassle, but the long-term effects will be greatly rewarded because we won't have to do crack seal and all that as frequent and all that. So just let us know what you see if anything seems out of place, but Public Works has done a really good job and with the contractor. So my second update, I know this is going to be a good one. Silver Copper Crossing, the speed limit has been raised to 45 miles an hour. Yes. I want to thank the community. I know Public Works did a speed study, Commissioner Naft, myself, and everyone was listening. It's a really good thing to see. You know, it hasn't even been open a year yet, but we're able to improve and all that. So I appreciate everyone's patience with that, but Public Works was able to put 45 miles an hour. It works smooth. It works well that way. Public Works is always also working on adding some more kind of turnouts. So if there are breakdowns or stuff like that, they're finding areas that we can have more of those. So with every project, you kind of engineer it, then you get the real users on it, and we can always reevaluate it. So we'll continue to keep evaluating on it. So please stay safe out there, and I'm glad to see that we can be at 45 miles an hour. So, and then next thing, I'll bring up my presentation. I want to thank, let's see, the volunteers in partnership. I want to thank Carrie with the chamber. I had the honor of presenting a proclamation to them on behalf of Commissioner Naft because they've raised $100,000 over their time here. If anyone doesn't know, the VIPs are a part of the community. I mean, you see them at every event. They're there to help at anything. They're great resources. They really promote the community. So that was a great day. A really cool thing. You got a 100-gram candy bar because of their 100 grand of money. So I just want to thank them for inviting our office to go there. The next slide, I'll go to that one. So I want to thank Tanya with the library. Last Wednesday, the 29th of January, Tammy and I were able to sit in the Laughlin Library Community Resource Fair. I know a lot of the partners in the room. Metro was there, the MVPs were there, UNR Extension was there. This is a really good event that Tanya's put together, invites us, that just has good information for the community. Nevada Legal Services were there, so she's always looking to improve it. It's going to be annually, so we always attend there. We were able to talk about programs and stuff that we have coming up, so that was good. This is our exciting event that's coming up on Saturday, the vaccine clinic and puppy love event. This is exactly the same as last year, where we're going to have all cats and dogs will be able to get their vaccinations. It's perfect because it's about 1 year from the last time we did it, so usually the pets are up for their next thing. But Commissioner Naft really wanted to make it a bigger event. It was such a success the first one. We did about 170 animals that we're going to have a DJ, we're going to have Metro's going to be there, Fire's going to be there, we're going to have a food truck, we're going to have treats, and there's also going to be a lot of community vendors that are local for animals. So please come there, bring your dogs. It's going to be at Spirit Mountain Activity Center and in the park. We're just very excited for it. So that's this Saturday from 11 to 1 p.m. So we're looking really forward to that. And oh yeah, and there is flyers in the back. So, and if you have any questions, call our office, and we're more than happy to answer them. This actually just happened this morning. Commissioner Naft texted me. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority provided a presentation, and Commissioner Naft always pushed for Laughlin of the 5 events that were headline events from Las Vegas events that came last year. So as you can see, we've got the air show, the rockets over the river, we've got concerts and all that. So this was presented to the entire community of showing how we are really still working with LTC, LVE, the chamber and all that to keep on bringing events. We had really great events last year, and then this is some upcoming events for this year. I know the big one is the rodeo. That was a huge response because it's coming back to Laughlin, which we are extremely happy about. So more events and more focus on Laughlin and bringing more to it. And that's always been Commissioner Knapp's vision. So we can end that presentation. Then the last thing is Commissioner Knapp's newsletters in the back. As always, we can send this electronically if you'd like it. It does have our flyer for our Puppy Love event in there, so please pass this along to your neighbors. And with that, that concludes my reports.
Okay, thank you. All righty. So then we'll move forward to item number 3 today, and that's receive an awards presentation from our Laughlin Rotary to honor a first responder for their dedication and contributions to the Laughlin community. And please.
It should be.
It's not up there anymore? Okay. He brought it back.
Hi, my name is Jackie Wallen. I am an employee of the Laughlin Tourism Commission, but today I'm representing with what's your name?
Renee.
Do I know you? Congratulations. I am so proud of you. Oh. Today I'm representing the Rotary Club of Laughlin. We are a set-aside, single kind of service organization that works really hard with a very limited amount of people. The maximum amount we've had in membership in the last 8 years is 12. And we get a lot done. If you don't know about us, we do some amazing things. And one of those amazing things we do is representing first responders, from the ambulance drivers to the social security in the resorts, everyone, volunteers, everyone that we can. So today we're honoring a first responder for the last quarter, it's actually the fourth quarter of 2024. We're just a little late. Today we gather to recognize an individual whose unwavering dedication and compassion have left an indelible mark on our community. It is an honor to present the Laughlin Rotary Club's First Responder of the Quarter Award to Lieutenant Grant Rogers. Oh my God, I'm so excited. We don't like him very much. And I have to share this really quick before I go into this. Somebody told me that even when you were reprimanding him, they felt special. Because they knew that you wouldn't be doing that and investing your time in them if you didn't really care. And that was the most special interview I've had about you. And I don't know, it's kind of a personal character kind of thing and how much you invest. And I'm going to go on before I start crying. Okay, Lieutenant Rogers is more than a leader. He's the cornerstone of this community. His subordinates, peers, residents, and colleagues all echo the same sentiment. They want to work for him and with him. Why? Because he embodies the values in empathy, fairness, and integrity. His career accomplishments are as follows. In 1999, he was hired on to Metro as Police Sergeant SEAC. I don't know what that stands for, but you do. In 2002, he was promoted to Police Recruit Training Bureau, NEAC, SEAC, and SWAC. I don't even going to attempt those. In 2006, he became a field training officer. In 2008, he became detective. In 2012, he was a police officer sergeant. 2014, police detective sergeant. 2016, police officer lieutenant of support operations. And then in 2021, he became ours, police officer lieutenant resident in Laughlin. What a lucky day for us. Grant Rogers has built an impressive career in law enforcement, one marked with exceptional leadership, dedication, and a commitment to his mission of serving and protecting. Throughout his time with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, he has demonstrated unwavering professionalism and a strong work ethic that have earned him the respect of his colleagues and the community alike. Let's focus on some progressive leadership. As a lieutenant at the Laughlin substation, Grant has fostered a culture of collaboration and accountability, even when they didn't like it. He leads with compassion and fairness, holding others accountable while using progressive development as a means to guide and encourage those who need support. Then let's work on community-focused initiatives. Under his leadership, the Laughlin Substation has strengthened its ties to the community, particularly through programs like Shop with a Cop and school supply deliveries, which he actively supports personally. Conflict of resolution expertise. Grant's ability to approach conflict with an open mind and a focus on fair, balanced resolutions has made him an effective leader and trusted mediator. His focus on solutions over blame has contributed to a safer and more cohesive community. A lot of people had a lot of things to say. You can read this on your own later, but everybody needs to hear it. His mentorship and team building. Known for his approachable and personal demeanor, Grant has mentored countless officers throughout his career. His peers and subordinates describe him as someone who not only holds them to a high standard, but also provides the tools and guidance needed for their success. His personal contributions. Grant's dedication to his adopted community goes far and beyond his professional duties. He devotes personal time to coaching youth sports, emphasizing growth and inclusivity over competition. He volunteers for youth trips through his church and consistently contributes to community outreach efforts. Despite these commitments, he remains humble, content to stay behind the scenes, and let the results speak for themselves. In his personal life, he continues to inspire through simple yet powerful gestures. Each day as he walks through the door of his home, he greets his puppy with unabashed joy, embodying the positivity and kindness he brings to every aspect of his life. And we can only see you talking that puppy love into your puppy voice. I can imagine it right now. Oh, hi! Oh, hi! Yeah. Grant, your career accomplishments and personal contributions are a testament to your character. You are not just a first responder. You are a mentor, a role model, and a source of hope for so many of us. On behalf of the Laughlin Rotary Club, the Laughlin Metro Police Department Substation, and the entire Laughlin community, we thank you for your service, your leadership, and most of all, your heart. Congratulations on being named First Responder of the Quarter, and an honor that you have earned for a very, very long time. I think there may be some other people here who want to say something. Did anybody else want to come and talk? I think this is your captain.
It is. I didn't. We were friends before. I didn't expect to say anything, but I'll come up off the cuff here. So, for being the captain of Southeast Area Command, what helps me tremendously is knowing that Grant is out here in Laughlin for you guys. As a leader on this organization, we all count on those that we work with to keep the peace and keep the community safe, and I have no headaches when it comes to Laughlin. I affectionately call him the Lord of the Riverlands from Southeast Area Command. But we've been friends for a very long time, and I'm very grateful that you're out here, man, and keep up the great work, and you see it on the faces of your officers and your sergeants. I heard you a couple times say he has peers. He has no peer, as far as I'm concerned. Grant is one of a kind and very special to the whole agency and this community, so thank you.
Lieutenant Rogers, one more thing before you do your speech. So, in conjunction, I know he snuck away earlier this month to go up to Las Vegas, and he was awarded an award for being with Metro for 25 years. And he didn't tell anybody. And as Laughlin, everyone knows, if you don't tell someone, we're going to make a big event about it. So, we're punishing you for that now. But Commissioner Knapp wanted to present you a proclamation recognizing you as well for your first responder work, but also for 25 years with Metro and on everything you've done. And I was just going to say, when I first met Lieutenant Rogers, It's been great. He's been so great for our community, working with Commissioner Knapp, working with our office. He always answers phone calls. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. I appreciate I have all of his phone numbers so I can hunt him down, but he's always willing to answer and help out. So
Yep.
thank you, Mark.
Here, I'll take one more. Both of you smile, look this way. Yay.
Yeah, this is a big surprise. I was telling a couple of my friends that came down here, like, this is town board, but I didn't know what everyone was doing here. And then when they announced Renee's reward, I was like, oh, perfect. Everyone's here for Renee because she does so much for me and for Laughlin. I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then I think we kind of tricked each other because she wanted to make sure I was coming to town board. And I was like, I don't normally miss it. And then I wanted to make sure she was coming to town board. So all things worked out together perfectly. But I'm very blessed to be here. I tell everyone that. I use the word spoiled a lot when I talk to my coworkers in Vegas. And I just got done doing an interview with Jill for the paper. I always say Laughlin, small town America. This is how the entire country should be ran and how we should treat each other here. That kind of gets lost in some of the bigger cities. We're all on the same team down here. People wave at each other when they're driving down the road. People are friendly. It's a good place to be. We're here to always uplift and help everybody. And I can't say enough for Renee. She does so much for all of us. And Jackie's right. Unfortunately, as a boss, you do have to, get on people or write people up or all those type of things. And anytime that I've had to do that, that interaction with that person, I think they left there feeling better about themselves because, we had to have a meeting about something that they didn't do properly. And I think they left that meeting understanding. Almost like when your dad's disappointed in you, you kind of walk out with a little bit of like, oh man, I should have done better. And then Jackie's completely right. If we can all greet everybody how we greet our puppy at the door, then we'll have a great day, and everyone will treat everybody better. And so, but yes, I'm truly humbled and blessed, and thank you for everybody that made their way down here. Truly blessed. Thank you.
You're part of Rotary. You have to come take a picture with Lieutenant. Take a picture? Yes, you're part of our Rotary. If you didn't know, Fred's on our Laughlin Rotary. We're 3 of 12. Want to come over here? This goes in our scrapbook.
Thank you. I'll be calling him back up here in a moment. A second to put his stuff away. Okay, and then we'll call Lieutenant Rogers back as we receive a report from him regarding Metro Police activity and statistics during the past month and other area crime concerns. Welcome again.
Yes, happy to be here. Now I see why everybody was here. I thought they just wanted to see the stats and everything else, but for the other reason that we're here. Yes, Lieutenant Rogers here at the Laughlin Station. I'm going to give our update on our crime stats for last month. For January 2025, we responded to 287 calls for service. This is almost a 6% decrease from January of last year, where we responded to about 304. So pretty close statistically. No real spikes in crime as far as changing there. We wrote 86 traffic citations. We made 1 arrest for a DUI. We had 4 arrests for adult domestic violence, and our Tucker holding facility had 20 total intakes, and we did have 1 juvenile arrest, but that was obviously transported to Vegas to the juvenile facility there. For those in the community that were aware, we did have 2 shootings towards the end of the year, which is pretty much an anomaly for us down here. It's normally peaceful and quiet. The good news is we were able to have, between our detectives and our resources from Vegas when the shoot team, I was speaking to Jill about it with the paper. The sheriff got together and created a new detective squad that responds to shootings anywhere where someone's actually been physically shot, not just where someone shot rounds into the air. So these detectives came out, helped us, and were able to close both of those cases, made arrests, and then through our partnership with my officers, apartment managers, and even our new judge, we were able to issue eviction notices to those people that were involved. As far as suspects, obviously, if you're a victim, then everything was okay. But so those cases have been closed by arrest. So that we did end the year on a good note by solving those crimes. So if anybody was questioning updates or aware of that, as far as stats, like Mark said, the increased speed limit on the bridge. We as a department, we're good with that. We just want to also mention to people though that. The speed limit, 45, is what we'd like to see the max. We still see people going upwards of 65 on that road. It is a very narrow road, and if you travel it with any sort of speed, it is kind of windy. So we do want to make sure people that they do slow down. It's not safe to pass. We just ask for a lot of patience for anybody on that road, even though with the increased speed limit, because as we see, there's no guardrails. If you go too fast, lose control, you will end up down in the embankment, which unfortunately my officers have responded to several car accidents where speed was a factor, even when it was at 35. So even though the sign says 45, we just ask people to use caution is our only statement for that. As far as community events, Mark touched on the vet clinic this weekend. It was a great success last year. I'll have my officers out there. I can't do any event successfully without my volunteers. If you see them all back here in the yellow shirts, sometimes they probably feel like they're overpaid, and I keep telling them I'm going to get them a raise soon. But I'll have them out in full force. It's a good event for vaccinations. Just be out in the community. The weather should be nice. We'll have a police car out there if you want to get a nice, postcard picture with your dog sitting next to a police car for your Christmas card for this year. Then we'll have a little police photo booth set up for that. As far as our next big event, we're going to redo or revisit this year again our Cops and Bobbers event. That's where kids in the community can come fishing with some of my uniformed officers. It will be the Wednesday during spring break. So that will be March 19th at 9 a.m. The Laughlin Bay Marina has graciously volunteered to host it this year. And we do ask everybody to RSVP if you want to come fishing, bring your kids out. We just want to make sure I have enough fishing poles for everybody, so we are asking for an RSVP. And our great relationship with Silver Rider, if somebody does not have transportation, we will come pick you and your family up to come fishing with us. We didn't have a lot of success. Those of you that are avid fishermen know it's kind of a waiting game, but there is word that the fish hatchery may be doing a release very close to the time that we're fishing. So there may be more success this year, so be ready to catch a lot of fish. There will be also a classic car show. My community sergeant, Donnie Cox, has put together a little car show. We might have some food trucks. It should be a really cool event. We'll have some raffles. We're going to raffle off some fishing poles to some kids. And just kind of make it a cool little spring break event, 9 a.m. at the marina. So, but that's it for my report. Any questions?
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Am I to assume it says calls for service 287, and then it says, domestic violence arrest 4 and bookings adult arrest 20? Am I to assume that 240 or 250 were not arrests? So we only had, those are the only arrests that we had?
Correct.
The rest of them are just calls for service that didn't end up in an arrest?
Yes, so even the 20 bookings isn't the total for my department. With our Tucker Holding here as kind of a satellite office for the county, we'll have Bullhead will use it, Nevada Highway Patrol, they use it. We'll have officers from Needles, California come bring an inmate here. So that's just total intakes for Tucker Holding. It's not 20 arrests that my team has made.
Wow, so it's actually less than that is what you're saying?
Yeah, as far as like arrests from LV and PD, it would be less than the 20, yeah.
And then the other question is kind of generally, I know we're a small town, but do we have any kind of a fentanyl problem or like a drug problem in town, or?
No, I mean, we haven't had an overdose event in a long time here.
Wow.
So we do, the other benefit of the satellite office here is part of Metro. Our department has like an overdose response team, so if there is sort of like a fentanyl-related death, I mean, they treat that as like a homicide where they try to backtrack through phones and social media on where the person bought the drugs. And if you're following a couple of the most recent court cases, people have gotten some severe prison time just as the person that has sold the fentanyl.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think predominantly still the predominant drug in this area would be methamphetamine. Is it still, or has something else taken that place?
I mean, I guess it depends on how you categorize marijuana nowadays with it being
Right,
legal.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say the predominant drug would be methamphetamines. But there's the county and the state and the country have made big gains, so it's not manufactured like it used to be. So we honestly don't see a super big increase. I would say for anything, we might see more pills-related arrests than really methamphetamine.
Okay. And then just another question on the Classic Car Show. Are there applications or anything for entering, or who do we contact for?
Yep, if you want to, you can either send me an email or just at the Laughlin email, our main email address. You can pull it right off our website, and then just send us a message if it's something that someone's interested in entering a car.
Okay.
There's no. It's a car show, but there's no like prizing or anything.
Right.
So it's not like a actual car show where if there's a first, second, and a trophy and those type of things. I think it's just more another way to get people in the community involved of, hey, if you have a cool old car sitting in your garage, this is a great time. The weather should be nice. Bring it out. Come down to the marina. Come hang out and, let people walk by your car and take a look at it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions of the lieutenant? No. All right, thank you and congratulations.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll move forward to item number 5. We haven't seen this one in a little while, but receive a report from Sergeant Tim Waller, Nevada Highway Patrol, regarding activities and statistics during the last month and other public safety concerns. Welcome.
My name's Tim Waller, W-A-L-L-E-R, Sergeant with Nevada Highway Patrol here in Laughlin in the Searchlight District. I don't know when the last time is we were here. Couldn't tell you. Just to give you a little bit of background, I've been down here 7 years, promoted this October. We were without a sergeant for a little over a year, so.
I think it's been about that long.
Yeah, it's probably, most likely. Currently, we have 2 vacant positions with 4 troopers. One of them is kind of a commercial trooper, so he does spend a lot of time in the Searchlight area. We cover about 110 miles worth of road, all of State Route 163, US 95 from California state line up to the I-11 in Boulder City, State Route 164 into Nipton, California, and then State Route 165 about 10, 11 miles up into Nelson. So that's our jurisdictional area. We handle calls for service and patrol those areas. We do assist other agencies in, Metro, Nevada Parks, any agency that's got anything going on, pretty much. So we kind of focus on our contacts. That's how I know my guys are out working, staying busy. And so those contacts can be anything from assisting a motorist to assisting an agency to a traffic stop. So we've had, for the month of January, 757 contacts by my troopers, and then 653 traffic stops, resulting in 569 traffic citations. 4 crashes, minor non-injury crashes, which wasn't too bad for January. And then arrests, we had 2 arrests. One was a DUI from one of the crashes. The other one was a warrant arrest for an individual who was had a domestic violence arrest, so he needed to go to jail. And that's about all I got. The statistics for the month of January, I know we had a couple of fatal crashes in that particular month too. And just to kind of give you a little bit of background, one was a DUI-related crash, and the other one, the investigation's not complete, but it was not a DUI-related crash. So there were 2 fatalities. So, and that's all I got, unless you guys got questions.
Any questions from the board? I just have one question, just out of curiosity. You don't know my background, but it's prior law enforcement. What is the calls for service or need possibly for narcotics patrol dogs that you would experience? Do you have a call out for that frequently, or do you utilize Bullhead? We haven't had one except for the canine that I donated to the area, but Laughlin hasn't had one in many, many years, I think about 15 years.
Yeah, well, we have actually, had a actual team with canines up in Las Vegas, and they primarily work I-15 coming in from California, I-11, or the northern I-15 coming in from Arizona. They just disbanded that just due to the fact that we just don't have the people. That's one of the reasons why we're short 2 people.
I thought you had a German short-haired pointer that was going through training for a period
Well,
of
if
time.
that's the case, we don't have anybody that's
No.
specifically using those dogs to try to find drugs. We come into contact with it from time to time. It's not out of control or anything like that, but we do a lot of times come across people, and it's a lot of different things. Heroin, meth, we obviously see a lot of meth, and then, of course, marijuana, everybody seems to have that, so, but it's not specifically out of control.
Okay. Curious. Thank you.
All right, yep.
All right. Then we'll move forward to item number 6, which is receive a report from Clark County Fire Department regarding calls for service during the past month and other fire prevention issues. Do we have the fire department with us? Nope, not today. Okay. Receive a report from Jason Bailey, Big Bend Water. I knew I saw you. Big Bend Water District regarding status of the water system. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board. Congratulations to those who were recognized for their service today. Jason Bailey with the Big Bend Water District with our report for the month of January. January diversions from the river were 253 acre feet. That is up from January of last year. And 2024 total diversions ended at just right around 3,100 acre feet. As far as a water system update, our staff has coordinated in an intake cleaning with a Blue Locker diving company. This is a periodic cleaning of the intake structure. They need to dive down and clean that out, and that will be done in the coming weeks. The SCADA finished water pump has been completed and is now in service, and our reuse water flow meter has been relocated. There was some information that went out late last week about a tank repair here in Laughlin. The 1,000 zone tank there was a leak at the connection point, and so that tank has been offline yesterday and today and is being repaired. Estimated repairs are to be completed today, though it may run into tomorrow morning if needed, but I will give an update to Mark and to the board once those are completed. As far as the financial update, through fiscal year to date to December 31st, the accumulated debt balance has decreased from June 2024's balance of $3.4 million to $1.6 million. Again, a lot of that is from receiving state revolving fund loans. And then just an update on some of the funding that we're looking to secure, the Water Resources Development Act funding. I know there was a question from Ms. Oakes last month about a timeline. I spoke with our infrastructure team and our grants team, and this last week we submitted a letter of intent to the Army Corps of Engineers for the first tranche of money for design of the first storage tank. So that letter has been sent to the Army Corps to receive funds for the design.
I'm sorry,
of that
for
tank.
the first what? Storage tank?
Storage tank, yeah. So that letter of intent was submitted last week. Again, that is for the design phase of the first tank. And the federal dollars, the earliest they would be approved would be the fall of 25.
Of 25? And what was
Yes.
that dollar amount?
So
For so this is for the letter of intent for engineering?
for design.
Design, I'm sorry.
So that dollar amount that was requested was like $908,000. I can get you the exact $908,000 was the requested amount. And I'd be happy to send over to Mark the letter of intent that was submitted.
Sure,
If
please.
you'd like to see that. And however, our grants team, so that would be the earliest that it would be approved. Funds, if everything went well and perfectly, would probably be received mid-2026. But likely the time frame really for design, for receiving the funds and design would be about 18 to 24 months.
Okay,
So I will send over that letter of intent
please.
to Mark. That's my report.
Okay, and so that also includes the 219 environmental?
That's what that is. That's the program that's
Right.
kind of overseen by the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And so at this point, since we submitted that letter, it's kind of in their court at this point. The ball's in their court.
Okay,
So, thank you.
all right. Any questions of the board? I was going to say staff. Okay, all right, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Okay. Moving forward to item number 8, receive a report from Will Smith. There you are. Clark County Water Reclamation District regarding the status of the wastewater system. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Will Smith, Clark County Water Reclamation District, Laughlin facility. With the statistics for January 2025, Laughlin treated an average of 1.5 million gallons a day, producing clean water returned to the Colorado River. Last year, this time, we had an average of 1.4 million gallons per day. That's the difference. That's a flow increase of 10,000 gallons per day from last year this time. We had 0 service complaints, 0 odor complaints. We had no call before you dig tickets. Attached to the report is the influent monthly flow chart comparison. And there was a question asked at the last meeting in reference to service fee connections. There will be no increase of service fees for the connection.
For fiscal year 25-26?
Correct.
Okay.
None. And that is my report, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions?
Questions from the board? All right. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Smith.
Have a great day.
Thank you. And let's see, yep. Receive a report from Mike Jackson, Executive Director of Southern Nevada Transit Coalition. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mike Jackson, Executive Director, Southern Nevada Transit Coalition. Sorry for not being here for some time, but I do have Sue that will be my alternate, and we will make sure that we're here every quarter. Wanted to start with workforce issues as we continue to talk about, and we continue to do what we can to make SNTC a more attractive workplace. We've increased the salaries by 8% every year for the last 3 years, and we're getting to the point now where I'm feeling comfortable that we're competitive, but I'm not comfortable exactly where we're at, and I'm going to keep pushing to make them more attractive. We brought on a retirement plan that we did not have before. We have paid time off. We have great health care benefits. So we have a really good package now, and it's showing. In Laughlin, we're about 2 employees short, which is a lot better than where we were after COVID. It was scary. Our other sites, Boulder City's pretty solid because they're so close to the urban area, and Mesquite is horrible. Really hard, difficult times, and the biggest thing is getting CDL drivers. There's a shortage in CDL drivers, and we're trying to push to see if we can get somebody to push through legislation to allow a CDL driver to add a P endorsement by only taking the written test. Currently, if you're a Class A, and let's say you have hazmat, you have all these great endorsements, and you're a good, responsible driver with all of that. But in order to get a P endorsement, which is a passenger endorsement, you have to go through the whole complete driving test, behind the wheel, everything. And that's real difficult. Our buses don't qualify to be able to be used because the instructor sits too far back to be able to observe the driver. So I mean, it kind of goes on and on and on. At one time, I actually had purchased a bus especially for testing. I bought a used one for $4,000. We had to fix it, but we made it work. And that was before we ended up with shortfalls and all that. So we're working through it. In the meantime, we just keep on making our workplace an attractive place to work. Another thing we're looking at is, and I think we brought it up before, and we're moving closer, is offering reduced fares to income-challenged residents of Laughlin. It's kind of new in public transit. You know, you have reduced fare for seniors, you have reduced fare for vets, you have reduced fare for paratransit, but there's no reduced fare for those who need the help because of income. So we're working out the details, working out the budgets, because it will lower our fare box revenues. But if I can do this and raise our ridership, we're good. So we're working with it. We'll see if we can get it implemented here soon. Other thing I don't know if everyone's kind of heard about, we're really taking a hard look at our current fixed route bus routes. They've been pretty much the same for quite some time. The last time I made a change was about 10 years ago, and it was just a slight change on Casino Drive. Looking at doing some bigger changes, covering areas that have never been covered before. I'm looking at the high school. I'm looking at Vista Creek. I'm looking at the boat dock and how we might be able to serve these areas. I have approval from NDOT for us to go ahead and cross the bridge and be able to go to the boat dock to meet up with the Bullhead Transit buses at that bus stop. That way the passengers can easily transfer to our system. But with doing that, I like to keep our routes on an hourly rotation. It keeps things simple. Everybody can understand the routes. So to add, when we're already filling up that hour block with the current route, that means I have to take something away. So we're doing a lot of studies and finding out where we're busy, where we're not. I don't want to take, there's really nowhere in the route that can be just taken away. But what we can do, rather than offering service to the area every half hour by both routes, that we would offer some areas that are slow hourly service. Pull that off of one route to allow to go other areas. And for example, the high school would not have both routes going there. It would have one route there, but Portofino has the other route going there. If you kind of see what I'm after. So we're kind of working with that and getting the ridership. Once we get it kind of details worked out, we have to go through a public notice process. We'll have public meetings, get the input of the public before we can do the change. Probably looking, I'm pushing within the year. The other area that we're going to be doing some studies on is before COVID, 888 operated 19 hours. It's currently operating 16. We had to reduce it because of workforce. So we're going to do a pilot program and see how that route actually needs those other hours. So we're going to put it out there for a month, maybe two, see what the ridership is. If it's just taking and moving passengers from one route to the other, and we're not increasing ridership, it may not be feasible to do. So all these things kind of have to work together, and I want to make the change all at once. So we'll keep you posted on that. As we do our quarterly meetings, we'll update you with any information that we've gathered during that time with ridership and how things are working with the changes. Overall, the ridership has been just kind of floating around, really up and down. I mean, you can see some numbers are much better than last year, but then you'll see other numbers that have dropped. It's very inconsistent. I think it has a lot to do with different functions that are going on, whether it be here in our town and even in Bullhead City when they have their soccer games and all of that from out of state. That it really, really depends on the casinos and the workforce demands that the casinos have, because that workforce takes our bus to work. So when the casinos are busy and they have everyone working, we're moving them. We're also doing a lot of partnering, as we love to do, and like was spoke about earlier about how Laughlin is, and the community is really tight-knit, and we're all partners in it. So we do everything we can to help on our side of it and provide transportation to these different events, and we're very happy to do so. Another great news is we have 2 new buses. We have one delivered now in Laughlin that we're working on. That one will end up going to Mesquite. There's a total of 5 that SNTC received grants for. 2 will be here for Laughlin, 3 will be for Mesquite. The only way that I could end up getting that amount of buses with the price of buses going up, I received the grant before COVID, and before I could order the buses, COVID hit, and then prices of those buses went up dramatically. So what I had to do is I had to take and basically remove all the options and just get a bare bus to be able to get the amount of buses that I want. And then on a separate grant, I bought everything needed to upfit that bus. So we are installing our camera systems, we're installing the bike racks, we're installing the head signs, the annunciators, all those things, and painting them. All those things are being done in-house, and that's our best way to be able to get the most amount of buses as we can. In your packet, you'll see I am doing the paint scheme to match the big buses. I think the new design is very attractive. Right now, I wasn't pleased with the other 40-footers that we painted. I wanted the reflective metallic to pop more for safety. So I'm doing some experimenting, and I may end up putting the reflective metallic in the white rather than the gray, and I believe it'll pop better. Stay tuned with that. We'll be working. I'm actually going to be rolling up my sleeves, and I'm trying to get everything done in the office so I can get out in the shop and start doing it. Right now, I'm the only one that knows how to paint, so I'll be the one painting them. Some of the events that we had a bowling tournament in August. It was kind of an experimental bowling tournament this time, and we normally have bowling tournaments every year. This year was a little bit different because now in Clark County, you have to have a permit for your 50-50. You have to have a permit for your raffles. And so we don't need a permit for silent auction. So we went ahead and had our bowling tournament and kind of expand the silent auction a little bit more on it. And it did pretty good. Normally we're around 3,000 that we range for a bowling tournament, and we ended up with 1,700. So that's not bad. And I'm getting the input from the people, and they enjoyed it. Sometimes the raffle was a little tasky, and you always had to check your numbers, and you're trying to bowl, so it kind of kept things a little calmer. So we're looking at trying it again and doing it again with just a silent auction and see if we can expand a little more on that. Luzma, our HR director, got her out attending a lot of the health fairs. She was at the Aquarius. Sue, I call Sue my social butterfly for Laughlin. She attended the night out events, and she really is out there at all the events. We had our second annual Megan Jackson Toy Drive. It was our second one, and it was very, very good. And the biggest thing that I got out of it was the community involvement and how the community really came together and helped with the toys and helped with the wrapping and events. The chamber put on an event for us, and Bill Berry put on an event for us, and the realtors. All of them just really came together, and it really shows how Laughlin as a community is a big partnership amongst us all. And so we ended up, there was 22 volunteers for wrapping. We ended up with about 120 kids, plus eighth graders. And this year because the way the toy drive works, the eighth graders normally don't get to participate. So Sue had came up with a way to be able to take care of them as well. And that included Searchlight as well. But it was really, really good event. We were proud to participate and help with the Shop with the Cop and transporting people. This year we went ahead and some people, I got a little bit of grief over it, but I put our bus in the Bullheads parade. We end up moving a lot of Bullhead City people on our buses, and I think it's important to make a presence. We don't have a parade here, so we decorated our 40-foot bus and we put it in the parade over there, and we got a lot of people cheering for us, so it was a good deal. As you heard, we're going to be providing transportation for the Bob event over in the marina. We have 6 people signed up for this Saturday's event for the dogs at the park. So we'll continue doing what we can to help the community. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
I have a
Go
I have a
ahead.
question. You mentioned you've given 8% increases over the last 3 years to your employees. Can I ask how much you're paying, or?
Starting pay is right around $17 an hour for a driver.
Huh.
That's okay, but when you compare it to the urban area, it's not.
Sure.
And if you really think about it, there's people that do drive from Laughlin to Vegas to work. So one of my big sells is I have to still compete with the urban wages.
I would imagine $17 an hour is probably one of the highest,
In Vegas,
businesses.
they're getting around 21.
I'm talking in Laughlin.
Oh, yeah. We're doing much better. But I want people to be able to make a living.
I'm with you 100%.
So we'll keep
I wish the casinos would go on that same bandwagon there.
Exactly.
I just simply, not necessarily a question, but just something you had mentioned, there is no program for people income challenged to, lower fares. And I don't know whether or not this would qualify, Mark, you might know. Community development block grants. I'm a member of the Community Development Advisory Committee. We don't have any current projects from Laughlin. It would be, I think, a smaller type of grant, although, most of our grants are in the millions, but it might be something that could run for consecutive years, but that definitely would benefit the community. I don't know if that would possibly be a use to set up a fund from the community development block grant that enables that to go on for several years. So I don't know if that's a vehicle or not, but it definitely.
I want to try to do it with my own budget. By doing it with grants, that could last for a
Correct.
few years and then go away. And whenever I try to do anything for public transit, you make it happen and you're not to take it ever away.
Yeah.
And so if I put this in, if I can work it within my own budget, it's going to stay. And so I feel more comfortable with that. And going through the numbers, I will be able to do it.
Okay, great. Any more questions?
Mike, I have a question. I heard a couple days ago that you have a bus service from Sandy Valley to here. But my basic question is there a brochure or something that shows all the services that you provide for the community?
I have the brochures that are available here in Laughlin are covering the areas including our Vegas Express, Searchlight, Cal Navarre, all of those areas. The Sandy Valley actually is not a route from Sandy Valley to here. What I do is I utilize a driver that is based out of Sandy Valley to handle a route that's from Searchlight. We do service Sandy Valley, but that service is from Sandy Valley to Vegas. But I do have an information book that I'm updating now that I'll bring to the next quarterly meeting that shows you everything that SNTC does. Because we do Sandy Valley, we do Good Springs, we do Indian Springs, we do, of course, Mesquite, Boulder City, and with our Searchlight, we handle Cal Navarre, Palm Gardens, so all these areas. So I'll update I'm in the process of updating our information book, and I'll bring one to the next quarter so you can see everything we do.
Yeah, for a long time, I thought it was just the two bus routes.
Yeah, we do.
No,
We
It's
do a
more
lot.
than that.
That's a lot
We do
You
a
guys
lot.
do one hell of a job.
I'm currently trying to restructure the transportation in Boulder City. Boulder City, we do demand response and demand response only with an express route going from Boulder City into Vegas twice a week. The RTC has their contractors that operate fixed route and paratransit in Boulder City, utilizing urban money when I can go after rural money to operate that fixed route and paratransit. I'm willing to do it, but I do not want our route going into the urban area because that's a high liability. And so what I'm trying to work is that we end up doing transfers to the RTC bus, and we would most likely meet at the college. And so I already have a route designed. I shouldn't say I. We have a route designed for Boulder City, a new one, that would be serving areas that haven't been serviced ever.
Oh, wow.
So that's my big project I'm working on right now.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
More questions? No? Thank you. Okay, and receive a report from Kelly Lear, Southern Clark County Coordinator with UNR. Hello, welcome.
Hi, guys. I feel like I haven't been here for a while. Kelly Lehr, L-E-H-R, UNR Extension. We resumed programming kind of to shadow the school year. So we started Tuesday afternoon classes. My partner is a community-based instructor, and she had her class today from 1 to 2 at the library, and it primarily serves the homeschool group. And it is a junior master gardener class, and so these kids can get certified. It's a national certification. It has a lot to do with gardening. And she is also utilizing the expertise of our Laughlin Master Gardeners. We have 5 of them down here in Laughlin, and they're helping out with that class as well. She's been hosting a class called Outdoor Nevada, trying to get the kids outside and away from their devices. And there's flyers in the back, by the way. She hosted her first one at Christmas Tree Pass, and they loved it. That was in September. We did a walk at the labyrinths. We probably did it when it was too hot outside, so we'll have to back that up a little bit next time. And then we had a January hike at Wee Thump, and it had just snowed. And some of the kids from Laughlin couldn't make it because I guess your pass was not very safe to drive, but the Searchlight kids had a blast. And our next one is next week at Davis Dam, and then we'll do another one at Cottonwood Cove in April. So there's flyers in the back for that as well. We're trying to get the kids outside. We're trying to get them to appreciate where they live and use the resources that are here. We have beautiful places where they can walk around and explore. And we're also going to try and work in geocaching. If you've ever done it, it's a treasure hunt. And so if we can convince the kids that it's kind of fun to be out and looking for a treasure, that, as a former PE teacher, I will try anything to get them outside and get them excited to be outside. We've also been working, I think last time I was here I told you, 4-H is in 2nd grade at Bennett. So my CBI goes into the classroom, the science classrooms, from 9 to 9:45 on Thursday mornings, and she started off with science of the seasons, and she was talking about different agriculture and seeds and growing plants, but we got a grant from Green Our Planet, and so we have 17 hydroponic units in the classroom, and the kids have been growing. We had them eating kale last week, and they were loving it. So this is a super cool program, and she's going to go all the way through April with this. We also started last week in an after-school Lego robotics. It was something that the kids wanted. We did something with the robotics team from Pahrump last year, and we had them explore some different ideas with Bennett, and Bennett was very, very excited. And so we wanted to bring them some more hands-on activities. So we're doing that on Thursday afternoon. So Thursday, we're pretty packed with classes, but boy, we're trying to reach all the kids, different ages, because we also do our 4-H programming at Boys and Girls Club on Thursday. And that is also hydroponics. They have a tower there that was donated to them, and our horticulture department got it up and running. And then we had 2 extra hydroponic units from the Green Our Planet, so the kids started planting seeds last week for that. So that's the first 6 weeks, and then this group loves to eat. So the last 6 weeks, we're going to take everything that they grow, and we're going to do 5-ingredient recipes and have them make food. Because anytime we can feed these kids with healthy food, we're going to do it. So that's what we have going on in the spring. She's also trying to get them to buy into a garden that we put in the back of the senior center. It's a raised garden. And then, of course, there's a garden at the park, and that's the community garden. And she's trying to get them to buy into planting and reaping the benefits of the things that you plant, and trying to do some buy-in with the senior center as well on that. We have a collaboration with the Alzheimer's Association and the UNR Extension Healthy Aging and Living Department. We started a 6-week series in January at the Laughlin Senior Center that is also on Thursdays, and that's from 12 to 1. And it's to promote brain and sleep health. Creatively Aging in Place was what the HAI, the Healthy Aging and Living, did. And they did aspirations and bucket lists. And then Devin, my CBI, has been doing Healthy Happy Herbs. And so the second series of that is this Thursday. It's free of charge. They take home herbs. They're creating crafts with herbs. You can see how to do scrubs. You can do wreaths. You can do it. The smell of them alone is good for everybody. But then the Alzheimer's Association will come in the last 2 Thursdays of this month, and they'll do their series. And they talk about services for caregivers and healthy eating and working in soil and doing some physical activity for those with Alzheimer's. And so it's kind of a neat series. I'm hoping it takes, because Bronson from Clark County has been genuine enough to give us a time slot in that center, and I really want that to grow. That's an audience that I think could benefit from UNR Extension, because we have so much to offer, and like I said, it's free of charge. Who doesn't like free? So come in and get all this information and get hands-on activities, and we can bring some programming there. We participated in the National Public Lands Day, National Night Out, Trunk or Treat, all those fun things this past fall. And we also had Dr. M.L. Robinson from the Horticulture Department come and do a workshop on arachnids, and that was back in October. It wasn't well attended. I'm trying to figure it out with our snowbirds, because that's basically what I'm relying on for the audience. So I've asked him to come back. I've invited him back for date palms and cacti this spring, because that was the request of the audience. They want to know more about those things because they do well down here in Southern Nevada. So we look forward to that. We're going to be at the Connie Davis 5K event, and we were at the Laughlin Resource Fair. And so general public, if there's anything else that the master gardeners could assist with, or have a table event, or Devin and I from UNR Extension, anywhere you see us fitting in this community, just let us know, because that's what we do. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So if you don't see enough of us, or you don't know what we're about, well, then I'm not doing my job. So I've been really focusing on the community garden. We're doing 3 new beds. UNR Extension purchased a bunch of irrigation PC parts. And Leroy, he's one of my master gardeners. He was just recognized last week at a luncheon, a recognition luncheon at UNR off Paradise. And he was our master gardener basically of the year, because he keeps that single-handedly running. He helps people grow trees and plants and rose bushes. There's some more seeds in the back if anybody's interested in planting on your own. It's not a good time to plant now, but next month it will be. So we're propagating inside right now in little pots, and then we'll replant in March. Things grow here, and our master gardeners would be happy to help out. They meet on the 26th of this month, which is at the library at 10:30. So typically they meet the 4th Wednesday of every month at the library. And they're just there. It's called Ask a Master Gardener. There's a flyer in the back of the dates, and they can help you out with anything. Last month, I had ladies bring leaves, and they said, "What is eating my plant?" And of course, Leroy has his books, and Bill has his magazines, and they can help people out with that. That's not my forte, but Devin also helps out with that too. Last month, I missed you, but it was National Radon Awareness Month, and it's that deadly odorless gas that's in our soil. We have terrible, terrible soil in Southern Nevada, and so UNR Extension has free kits. So if there's anybody that's interested in testing the soil, you basically take the lid off, you put it at the lowest point of your house, of your foundation, and after 2 or 3 days, you put it in the envelope and you send it off, and they will test it. They'll tell you how to mediate if there's something that needs to be done, or they'll say your soil is fine. So it's also free, and my office gets 10 to 20 of them a year. So if anybody's interested in testing their soil, please see me after this meeting. I also have the Healthy Aging and Living flyers for February in the back. That's a good one. It usually has some good recipes and some good tips for being safe on the internet and different things you do with your phone, and not answering the phone and not pushing the buttons on your phone to, you have a Home Depot package, track it. So they try and help out the seniors with being safe online. So some good tips in there. Any questions for me?
Any questions from the board? No? Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and receive a report from Carrie Larson with the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I'm going to be incredibly brief. I have a 15-and-a-half-year-old today that really wants to go take a permit test.
Yes, definitely.
I'm going to hit just the highlights. Business breakfast, Exceptional Community Hospital is coming February 28th. So if you ever wanted to know when do you go to Exceptional versus the big giant Warmsea or Valley View, that's a great thing to come to. We also have a community field trip at Warmsea on March 13th, and so we'll meet there and take a tour of the facility. As other people have mentioned, we have Connie Davis Walk coming up. It's $30. You can sign up on laughlinchamber.com. We've already got like 350 people signed up for it. We're hoping to hit 500, so that'll be spectacular. And thank you to everyone who has partnered with us on that. We have a first-class happy hour coming up aboard the Grand Celebration. They are hosting that for us. There will be complimentary hors d'oeuvres and karaoke by DJ Loki. It's $15. And then I asked Silver Rider to stay because the Riverside Resort has invited us back to hold a second annual Tinsel and Tunes this year. So if you will have us hosting your Megan Jackson toy drive, we would love to do it again because it's fun. So that date is going to be November 10th. Save the date. I didn't put it on the report, but since he was actually here, I thought I'd tell him in person. It's a Monday, which sounds weird, except for November 11th is Veterans Day, so nobody has to work, so you can stay and have fun with us. Another big thing that popped across my email, February 19th from 10 to 1, Aquarius is having a job fair up in their pavilion upstairs. Regarding the Puppy Love event, Risen Star is one of the Laughlin Chamber members. He will be there, and what he would really like to do is walk with a trainer. David's mission is to try and help seniors learn how to appropriately interact with their dogs because he's seeing a lot of bites and scratches. And as you know, the older you get, that skin tears very, very easily. So he wants to provide an opportunity for people to learn how to walk with their dogs and make sure that they're interacting with them in a way that's not going to cause aggression from that dog. Last but not least, no, not last. Claudia's notary stamp is in process. So notary functions are on hold right now until it arrives, and it is always by appointment only. So please make note of that. Jackie forwarded me a big chore when I took over. She sent me about 18 months of communications with NDOT. She'd been working with Hildy Angus over in Bullhead City, Mojave County, to rename the 68 coming down the Colorado River Highway, and we were working on the 163 to name it the Colorado River Highway, as well as renaming the bridge after Don Laughlin. So our team went through about 18 months of communications with NDOT, and at the end of that, I went through a review of the statutory requirements, found out that we had to put together a bill draft, drafted that bill, and I'm happy to announce that it was read before the Assembly. It's been termed AB 110, and it's been sent to the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. Danielle Gallant is carrying that bill, and we're hoping that it will be heard by the committee and hopefully passed to have the Donald J. Laughlin Memorial Bridge officially dedicated. So that's all I'm going to hit on. Do you have any questions, or may I run quickly?
Any questions from the board? Nope.
Okay.
Go ahead and get
Thanks.
that test done. I remember when I was 15 and a half. Okay. We'll go ahead and call Jackie Wallen with the Laughlin Tourism Commission.
Good afternoon again. Nice to see all of you. We have Cinch's World Toughest Rodeo and Marketplace coming. We've added a marketplace this last week. We'll be finishing up that probably on Thursday for the measurement of the grounds. It'll be, I think we're going to name it Boots and Bites. So it's going to be food and a marketplace for people to get all that they like about country western items and artifacts. That will be on the LEC grounds, but it will be open long before the rodeo, and it will stay open long after the rodeo for people to enjoy it. That is April 12th and 13th. You can look up the hours and transportation and those kind of things on the website. Visit Laughlin.com. Townwide concerts are coming back May 24th. It's Gretchen Wilson and Big and Rich. That is the only concert that we have that we can announce right now. The other ones are still in a negotiation. So you can find out about the Edge Pavilion concerts over on the grounds at Edgewater's property. But for LEC, we still have some negotiating to do. I have to tell you, it's been quite a challenge to get those A performers to come back to Laughlin after COVID, because their prices have gone up quite a lot, not just for us to hire them, but for them too. They have a lot of expenses that have gone up, and so we have been challenged a lot, but never fear. We're not going to put a lower act in there because we want to fill the 11 or 12,000 seats that we have in that amphitheater. That is May 24th. Rockets Over the River. This last week, I negotiated an extra 2 minutes, and we negotiated an extra 750 shells for zero expense. So the actual show will be 22 minutes long from its usual place over the river. So in your usual tailgate parties and along the Riverwalk, you'll be able to enjoy an even bigger and better show this year. Zambelli is celebrating us because we've been loyal to them and utilized their services. They gave us a really good price because we were able to put up their staff and feed them in the rooms, because remember, they only work at night. During the day in July is not fun to be out in the sun. So they work at night, and we put somebody on site to protect the rockets. They're considered weapons of mass destruction, so we have to have armed 24 hours a day. So I'm excited that we're going to have an even longer show. If you can stay up that late, it'll stay up. It'll be at 9 o'clock, and we're on the same time zone then. So enjoy yourselves, and I hope that you really like it. We have some new music going with it again, too. The Pioneer has dropped as a member of the LTC, so we have 7 of the major resorts. That would be Aquarius, Edgewater, Golden Nugget, the Riverside Resort, Tropicana, Laughlin Harris, Laughlin, and Laughlin River Lodge. And that is my report. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? No? No?
Okay.
Thank you.
One thing I need to tell you, if you guys have any marketing ideas, we've all lived here a long time. Destination marketing. I'm a DMO of Destination Marketing Organization. So if you have any marketing ideas, we're going after a Nevada-based grant for tourism, and I could use all the ideas that come out of everybody's brain. I call it yes. Give me your ideas. I won't say no. I'll just write them down and hopefully submit them in the grant application. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And receive a report from Robert Bilbray with the Laughlin Economic Development Corporation to discuss their proposal for a State of Nevada Laughlin Lagoon boat slip project, and for discussion only. He brings pictures.
Good afternoon. Robert Bilbray, 1631 Cal Edison Drive, representing the Laughlin Economic Development Corporation. Today I'd like to speak about an issue that really started in 2018. and kind of has been brewing ever since 2018, after we finished when we started the construction of the lagoon dredging, and then the completion in 2019. As you recall, when the initial construction of the
If we could get the microphone back, is the portable one up there or no? We could just ask the back if you're going to be.
I think I can shoot from here.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the property owners paid 100% of the dredging and are continually using I think that'll work better for them. I'd like the board to see it. So we're talking.
You bet. Oh.
I'm sure, sorry, I didn't
We're
plan
not
better.
used to this. This is new to us, our new system and how it works. Yeah.
Thank you. Moving along, in 2018, we started seeing, a substantial market change in, the boats on the river, the slips on the river, all the way from Topok to Catherine's Landing. I'm sorry.
If you look above you, sir. Right there? Now you can point.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, well, basically what we're talking about is this part of the is government owned for the most part. Obviously, the Laughlin Bay Marina has this. Private property owners have the rest of it. When we originally dredged the lagoon for approximately $5 million, spent another, advanced another $900,000 for the design of the dredging from the Fort Mojave Development Fund, I don't think we foresaw the potential of what was going to come with respect to the distance and the 45 acres from Needles Highway extending to the jetty. The state, obviously, we've all watched what's happened at Big Bend State Park. I mean, it's even through COVID and everything else, there was just lines and lines and lines for hours to get in. I came back to, after meeting with state lands and state parks, they said their biggest major problem was boating and the paddle boats and the kayaks and the non-motorized in a 9-mile-an-hour current, and that they were ending up downstream and having to be chased and picked up. So so that kind of led to the issue of let's look at a beach park with different amenities in addition to what would fund the beach park and the operation of the beach park. Now, what we're basically saying is this would be the water element of the project, which I'll talk about today in more detail. And this 45 acres here, mostly state lands and state parks, I believe there's about 5 acres there, Clark County, that would be the on-site park itself and the recreational amenities for the community. So that's kind of the two ways to look at the thing. Obviously, the massive income generator would be the slip generation. There is a backlog of slips that's just astronomical. I think last time I spoke to the Catherine's Landing Marina, they were over 600 slips short, and looking at potentially building additional small boat harbor at the Nevada side of Telephone Cove or at the Arizona side of Telephone Cove. We would obviously prefer the Nevada side of Telephone Cove. But without that kind of generated an interest to, and I spoke with, the Secretary of Conservation and Natural Resources, who manages state parks and state lands. He said, go out and do a survey and find out what type of facilities and amenities the community would want on that 45 acres. And what I've attached here for you to do is what that survey resulted in. you can see it was varied all over the place, from an amphitheater for, getting shows that show up in the hotels to see if they'll come down and do charity concerts in the amphitheater for the community, which is done in a lot of other resort areas. You can say the basic items are 3 or 4 soccer fields, boat launch separate for non-motorized for launching your paddle boats or kayaks, shaded over areas. I know we have a pretty good location right here for a no boat a swimming area, whether it be no boating at all. And again, I think we got room for probably a 700 to 800 seat amphitheater for doing community shows at Easter, Christmas, those type of events, and use it by both of our schools. The normal things you would expect was the sand volleyball, putting greens, those type of ideas. Now, what I have following is basically the aerials of the general area and the aerials of the going down through Big Bend State Park, which we had to show them the impacts it was going to have on them. And then the first phase, and I say first phase, of the slip development. Now, as far as our market goes, I was kind of surprised that, after speaking with state lands and state parks, and they said, I think the demand just is almost sitting right in the community without having to go outside. And I said, I don't know how many of the hotels would be interested in slips, covered slips. And these generally would be 22-foot to 28-foot slips. That's the recommended size for probably 85% of our market. Those boats run now $220,000 to $290,000 a piece. So it's definitely the high-end situation. Now, the impacts of it, homeowners associations, and I believe we have 27 homeowners associations, at least half of them have come to us and said, is there a possibility that instead of that the homeowners association for condos could pre-lease 30 or 40 of these slips just for their tenants? And of course that's available. And now what that would do, as far as what we would see as far as housing projects in the future, we would be tying slip rentals as part of the real estate of buying a condo in a project that had slips available, or specifically offering single-family detached houses with slips. And that would substantially increase the attractiveness of everything we build residentially in town. And I think it was kind of surprising to me that they were then looking to try to change the code with respect to their RV and parking requirements on the, and I went, no. Everybody wants slips with a boat in it, and not necessarily in an HOA's parking garage or parking area. I found surprisingly that people care more about the protection of their boat than they do their home. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that. But we feel it'll economically work. Like I said, I did speak to the state parks people, and they asked us to go out and get a preliminary cost bid for the slip end of it. And then we'd start working on the land-based facilities in addition to that. Now, I've attached, and I just got this, so it's fairly preliminary, and it was given to me by Mike Ottman. And now, Mike Ottman, if you remember, he was the contractor who dredged the entire lagoon. And keep in mind, the basic issue of the lagoon is it's deep enough and it's not in a 9-mile-an-hour current. And that's the critical attractiveness of this lagoon. It was also done by Fisher Industries, who was, they were the contractor building the new bridge. So they've had input in it. And you can see it ranged, the preliminary estimates, but again, this is very rough right now, and it's only involved only involving the slips, the dredging for the slips, the tie down of the slips, and covered slips. And that came out to 33 million and some change. The preliminary design for it would be approximately, we're estimating at 1.1 million, and that would make the slip rentals come out to somewhere in the area of, that would be compatible to Topak or Catherine's Landing. My guess is probably $8 to $12 a foot for the size of the boats. Obviously, it's like 13 at Catherine's Landing, to give you an analogy. So, you know, I think it's doable. Again, we started this in 2018, and I've checked with most of the general managers of the hotels, and they went, yay. You know, we want 100 or we want 200. I'm not sure that's really something that we can find, you know, a concessionaire can finance that on. Now, the next, you know, the project would be run by state lands and state parks, mostly by state parks. It would coordinate with their existing facility, obviously, at Big Bend. There'd be commonalities with respect to security and management at both locations. We're not asking for a commitment today. I just wanted to share with you the concept plan as it exists now. It's, you know, I have to tell you that we've pretty much planning that this will not be 900 slips. At the end, there's plenty of room with the same density for 1,400 slips. And, you know, I think we got a plan that there's probably, you can see there's a lot of shore amenities that would change along the whole lagoon based upon this development. It wouldn't just be single-family houses. As you recall, it's all zoned hotel casino along the whole master plan, it's all H1. So, but I think we probably need, you know, I'll take, with these cost estimates, I've already received support of the project by our board. I intend to proceed along with the contractors and engineering firms to start getting some engineering bids on it and giving those to the state. I foresee the state will be the design contractor on the project. Now, they may ask for some money from Fort Mojave Development Fund, which, you know, they haven't asked for a nickel yet. But this would, you know, this is definitely a qualifying facility for a Fort Mojave Development Fund consideration. I know 900 slips seems like a lot, and 1,400 slips just really seems like a lot. But when the cost figures came in, if you can look at this on the slip cost, I think what they're looking at is the more slips we have, the more viable it is to get the greater number of bidders on the concession, and that'll be let by the state. You know, that's the schematic. The state will let the concessions on the land-based one. It'll be two different concessionaires. The marina and the slips will be one concessionaire, and the land operation, which is much more intense labor-wise, you know, with the parks and the picnic areas and those type of things, that'll be run by, I think, Big Bend State Park. So that's kind of where we're at now. Again, it's not asking for any decisions. It was just to give you an operational overview of the direction we're going. The market looks really good. It really does look good. And it's really because of nothing we're doing. It's just that there's no place you don't get hit with a 9-mile-an-hour current. You know, that current is what's making this so much more valuable. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Marty, did you want to say anything at all? Okay. Now, again, I don't have a budget for the ground design. We'll be looking at doing that very shortly as to what amenities, but I think we might do another community survey to make sure these are updated and this is what people really want. But other than that, I don't think the talk and chatter on the streets among the boating crowd hasn't changed. It's just, wouldn't it be nice if we had more slips? And, I think the right way to do this is to have this not privately owned, but to have this operated by the state, State Parks Division. That's my suggestion. Any questions?
Mr. Bilbray, will you be having any public meetings in addition to, with the board, any just open for public comment?
Everything's this is very localized. I don't see a lot of, other than concessionaires coming in, that'll be outside dredging companies and, working with the contractors. But, and as far as the construction and everything, I'll leave that up to state lands and state parks to coordinate what they're doing. But as far as what the community really wants, I think, we can do that here. And we can hold, just as we did in 2018, and just confirm, off the top of my head, I was here in 2018, and there's not much difference in the demographics of our owners now and the demographics of our owners in 2018. So I wouldn't expect it to change much. It'd be, a little bit intense on the beach area. It's not anything like, it'll be totally different, much more community-minded. I think anybody would be stupid not to, envelop and welcome the community, other social service clubs and stuff to use it and to benefit from it.
Any questions from the board? Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, moving forward, planning and zoning, we have none. General business, we have no agenda items for that. So we'll move forward to item number 8, and that is comments by the general public. So this is a period devoted to comments by the general public on matters relevant to the board's jurisdiction will be held. No vote may be taken on a matter not listed on the posted agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to the speaker's podium, state your name and address for the record, and please spell your name. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of presentation, this will be done by the chair or by the board by majority vote. Welcome. Hi, Bria.
Hello. Hi, I'm Bria Shadini, Breachiodini. I know it's a tough one. I usually have to spell it, so I'm used to it. I'm here today to just ask if I could be put on the agenda for next month's meeting to discuss or give an update and annual review for the River Flow Committee, and just kind of let the board know how it was formed and kind of some of the challenges that we've overcome and some of the challenges that we're facing with the Davis Dam water releases.
And that was something in the past we got with, Jackie sat on that, so she would usually update the board on that.
And I can coordinate with Bria to work with staff and figure out what we can do, so.
Okay.
Did you say the River Flow Committee?
River Flow Committee, yes.
Okay.
And he may not know what that is. So what that is they release certain amounts of water throughout the year. And then also when it comes to our abatement programs for caddisfly and things like that, they do really low, so that it exposes the larvae to oxygen, which kills them. And that helps with our caddisfly problem. But they need to let everybody know when that's going to be happening and coordinate that as well.
Yeah, so once a month we get on a call with the BOR local. I think Mark's on that call, and we've got the city manager in Bullhead City, both chambers, local businesses, and we just discuss water-related issues and what the upcoming trends are going to look like as far as how many units of water we're going to be getting and when we're going to be getting that water.
So it really affects businesses along the river and how we operate and
Right.
pest abatement and that kind of stuff, so.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Thank you,
Okay.
Bree.
Thank you.
Any other comments by the general public? These are items under the purview of this board, but not listed on today's agenda. Mr. Bilbray.
Bob Bilbright, on behalf of Bob Bilbright, 1631 Cal Edison Drive. I've given you a copy of AB 104, which I haven't submitted to the LADC board for their approval. I would expect it's pretty self-sufficient. We're sitting with 500 acre feet. We're only using 3,000, but it's a smart move by the governor to start collecting all the stagnant water permits that are statewide. Obviously, water is going to get and continue to be such a very valuable resource. I haven't spoken with Settlemyre yet on it. He's basically the Conservation of Natural Resources is really the. I will plan on testifying in support of this bill, personally. On the other matter, and that's the 18 to 24 months we heard from the Water District as far as designing, I wanted to state that's very disappointing, very disappointing. I will be back before the board with a summary of what the Board of Equalization does to the property tax values in this township. And I want to warn every board member you can imagine what it's like. It's going to be extremely ugly. And it's going to continue until this 4.5-year water issue is resolved. And using a federal grant that takes 24 to 36 months just to finance the design is not our answer. So that pretty much, my guess is this community should look forward to a crashing property values in 25, 26, progressively worse in 26 and 27. And if that timeline is our real timeline, that it won't be resolved till 2028, we're looking at 3 years of this. That will really damage our fire department budget, parks and recreation, schools, everything. So this is the first I heard that the timeline for just the design was 24 to 36 months.
And the price. Yep.
I will definitely be talking to our federal delegation with respect to that matter. Thank you very much. Sorry if I took more than 3 minutes.
All right. Anyone else care to speak? Evan?
All right. Good afternoon. Just our regular update for the World Economic Support Agency that we're going after these federal grants. Obviously, with currently what's going on with the administration, it's been a whirl of events as far as the changeover, staffing, communication line, and all of that. So we've been working diligently with our congressional and state representatives as well as the federal partners to make sure that through that transition that we don't lose our communication line. That's going to be critical. Obviously, there's been a couple issues that's taken place with some different organizations that were liaisoning with this, but that will ultimately not affect our process going forward with these grants or timelines. The only thing right now is just letting everything with the transition kind of get through, get everybody that's currently taking the new positions with these federal partners to assume their positions, and then we can restart the conversation of how our organization is going to work directly with these federal partners. On the state sector, I am happy to announce that we are working on some progressive options for securing state funding. They're looking at options for, because of the WRDA Resource Act going through, they're looking to see if there's a way that the state could also provide a match. Obviously, with the WRDA funding, there's a big issue with the match component to that. That is being addressed with the Water District on our annual meetings, but the state is also looking at options for potentially providing some matching options that could provide funding sooner than what the WRDA funding is going to be released at. Aside from that, that's really all that we have as far as the update with the federal side. We are actually looking at a couple different private donations right now that are interested in some of these funds for water resource and so forth. But the other aspect that we're looking at this is for the fire protection and mitigation, right? So you have fire disaster relief, but then you have disaster resiliency. And that's what this community should be looking at this as well, because it's a matter of making the community more resilient to any issues when it comes to the fire component of the storage. So that's another aspect that opens up a whole nother door for federal grants as well, especially given what happened in California. So these are all things that we're working on right now. The only thing that we're looking for is that letter of support that we were talking about before. We're just still waiting on that so we can get that for our submissions. And then we also probably next month we'll have an update as far as the airport. There's a lot of moving parts going with that, and I think that needs some spotlight put on it, given their presence with the funding. Aside from that, if you guys have any questions for us, I would be happy to answer anything.
Any questions from the board? I'm just curious with the update that we got from the Big Bend Water District. So with them moving ahead on the WARDA funds, they said that there was just the design was $908,000, and that part of that was submitted to the letter of intent to U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the 219 Environmental Structure Program. If that is completed, will that help? Will you have access to that as well?
That's going to have to be a separate conversation with DOA and her team and Jason's team. But when you say have access, are you talking about to the preliminary design?
In other words, if they submit that and the 219 environmental impact study aspect of it, will that help you guys if that's completed?
It will assist. Obviously, it'll take.
I think
a
the
portion of that.
timeline is way too far out for
That
what you're
timeline with the
doing.
WRDA funding is way too far out for what we're going for. And so does our congressional and state representatives that are actively working on this. They agree that that's too far out. It's a good safety measure to have, and it's going to come in line if you want to talk about the further infrastructure that could be provided from that funding, but it's not what we're looking for the storage tanks. Obviously, the Water District has to move forward on only the tangible aspects that are in front of them right now. So given that respect, they have to move on the WRDA and put that intent in. And it's just how the WRDA funding takes place. It takes a long time to get those funds appropriated. But everybody that we've talked to is aware of that, and they also want to make sure that the state sees that the federal is assisting on the WRDA funding. They want to also put their portion in as well. So we're working on all those aspects as far as the legislative session as well right now. So that's another component to it.
All right, thank you, Evan.
But we're not stopping. I told you we're going to turn
Nope,
every
I
brick
know you
over,
won't.
and we're turning them all over, especially every philanthropist that we can talk to. So.
Yep. Thank you. All right, is there anyone else for public comment? Again, this is items under the purview of the board, but not on today's agenda. Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and just advise that our next meeting date is the Ides of March, March 11th of 2025. And seeing no more comment, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time today.